Hello, Cert 3 and Cert 4 champions. Rick Isaac here, wanting to talk to you about how do you calculate what to charge? What hourly rate are you going to charge for your personal training? It's a great question, right? And most of us really struggle with it. I know I did when I started my personal training business way back in 2001. It's a really challenging question because we assume that a lot of things, okay? I'm going to take through a breakdown of what actually happens, what you have to pay for to deliver on that session, and why charging 30, 40, $50 an hour may not be for you if that's a type of if you've got a different lifestyle that you're wanting to achieve. So let's assume you want to work 40 hours a week. I know there's a few of you who want to just go for it and do more, but we need something that's going to be sustainable. Okay, so 40 hours a week definitely is. Now, you absolutely need hours for administrative tasks, which include marketing, includes sales, it includes bookkeeping, includes client communication, follow-ups, questions from clients, rescheduling, your program creation for the clients, cleaning of the facility, whether it's yours or someone else's. What about your ongoing education? All of these things are going to take up time for you in terms of delivering that service. So I would suggest that's 10 hours a week conservatively, especially when you're trying to grow your business, because then you need to put more time into sales and marketing. But then when you do have a busy business, well, then you've got more time in client communication. So typically 10 hours is the average. So we're left with 30 hours, okay? And I'm going to put a link to this down below so you better see all the numbers here. We've got 30 hours each week, but you cannot do six clients back to back to back to back to back. It won't work because you need a break. You can't just finish one session. Okay, you're done. Bye. And then move straight on to the next client. That doesn't work either. You've got to have a bit of a chat at the end, bit of a chat when the new person comes in. You've got to have hydrate. You've got to have something to eat in between. So if we divide that 30 hours by 1.25, which is an hour and 15 minutes, that's having a 15-minute break in between each session. Now we're left with 24 hours. So we've got 24 client-facing paid hours each week out of that 40 hours. Now, if we looked at the rates for this, and you can see them below, I'll just use $50 as an example. So $50 an hour, which I see a few of you have mentioned you're charging, that equates to 24 paid client hours. If you're full, by the way, if your schedule isn't full and you're still trying to get more clients, it'll be a lot lower than this. But if you're full, your schedule's full, you're at capacity, that's $120 a week. At $60, it's $14.40, $70, $16.80, $80 per hour, 1920. Sounds great, right? 1,200 bucks a week. It's not bad. 4,800 a month. Happy days. But wait, you see, because this isn't a job. You've got to pay your tax out of that. You've got to pay GST. You've got to pay insurance. You've got to pay rent. You've got to pay petrol. You've got to pay for your phone. You've got to pay for car insurance. You've got to pay for any tools that it costs you to deliver on the service. You've got to pay for any equipment that you give away as part of your service delivery. And if you're like any other business in the industry, that's going to be at least 40%. Once you start charging higher prices, you'll go into a higher tax bracket. Or if your rent is not particularly cheap, if you're having to pay per session, that'll become even higher. Okay, so when you take 40% off of these figures, now your 1,200 becomes 800 a week. Your 1,440 becomes 864, your 1,680 becomes just over 1,000, and your 1,920 becomes 1,152. So the question isn't so much about what the competition are doing, although that's a factor in it. The question more becomes, what do you want to earn? Do you want this to be a full-time career, or do you want this to just be something part-time that you noodle along with? Because I can promise you right now, at 800 a week, I don't know where you guys live, but you're not eating a lot of good food doing that. You're certainly not going out for meals. You're barely paying your rent. So that's not going to work if you want this to be a sustainable business. Most people in our industry that start out massively undercharge, only to realize a year or two or three into it that they've shot themselves in the foot and they can't make it work. Do what the really successful trainers do. Know that people with money, you know what you get what you pay for. They know that, right? That's why they have money. That's why they make smart investments. So look at charging a price which is going to attract that type of clientele. Okay, that's what's going to make your business sustainable. If you're not profitable and if you're not earning a good income, you're not going to last long in an industry. And I would hate to see someone as passionate as you not make this work due to making such a simple mistake at the start. Now, this may sound like a lot of money to you, but to those people you're targeting to become clients, it's not. They spend 10, 15, $20,000 on a holiday and they go on 2 or 3 holidays a year. This is not a lot of money to them because remember, you are not your client. If you want some more info on this, shoot me a message below. I hope it's been useful. Please think about what lifestyle you want and what price point do you need to charge to enable you to have a sustainable fitness business. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.